Hello, my friends. Welcome back to A Common Touch of Fantasy. My name is Paul. Today, we're talking about the 5 tips for helping you meet and make your reading goals in 2019. Everyone is making reading goals this time of year, and I want to try to help you guys make them and achieve and doing them in the new year. So, my first tip about meeting your goal is to pick one or two of the most important goals that you have concerning your reading. If you have like 10 different goals, reading a classic book every month, reading a nonfiction book each week, reading a certain amount of pages each day, reading certain audiobooks all the time, reading all of a certain author's books this year, reading all of the masterwork science fiction series. If you have a ton of goals, you just won't have the time to accomplish all of them. Yeah, I would love to read, hundreds of books, but I have to be realistic. I can't. So be realistic. Focus your goals down to one or two main objective goals. Now, if you want those other side goals, you can just make super easy. For example, if you want to read classics this year, instead of reading a classic every month, your goal will be to read 3 classics this year. So it makes it so much easier, and you're going to be able to actually accomplish that. But with your most important goals, those are the ones you really want to focus on. My second tip is to actually cut your goal in half. I thought that I, for example, wanted to read 300 short stories in 2019. That is a lot. That is a pie in the sky, super impressive accomplishment that I might not get. So instead of 300 stories, I'm going to cut that in half to 150 stories. So do yourself a favor, cut your goal in half. Because in the end, it's not really about the number that you reach. It's about the habits and the persistence that you do throughout the entire year that will make you get to possibly that higher goal you had in your head before. But the half of the goal is definitely more doable. The third tip I have for you is to make your goals visible somehow. Type it up, print it out, put it on your wall, do something that shows what you're doing. Put like a rock in a jar for each book you read. Last year I put a star on a black poster board, like a sticker, and for every book I read, and now it's like this huge star scene. Or just make check marks on something on your wall or in a book or something, but something that you see every day. I also put $1 in a jar for every book I read last year, and I could see all the money piling up in that jar as I was reading throughout the year. So make it visible so that you're reminded about what is important to you when it comes to your reading goal. The fourth tip I have for everybody is figure out the everyday things you need to do to meet your goal. This could be anywhere from reading 25 pages a day to reading for an hour each day to putting your cell phone up at a certain time at night to carving out a certain time each day for you and to tell your loved ones and your family that, hey, this is my reading time, and just schedule that reading time. Figure out something that you can do every single day that will let you get closer to your goal at the end. Personally, what I love to do is I love to set my phone for an hour of reading. So I put a timer on my phone for an hour, and during that hour, all I do is read. I put my phone across the room and I read for that hour. So regardless of how that day goes, I can look back and say, hey, I read for an hour. I accomplished what I wanted to do. And that's so important to have these daily goals. And don't go for like a huge goal at first. If you just want to read for 20 minutes, do that and read for 20 minutes each day. The purpose of this is to get into a habit, get into a groove, into a routine. Then as you get into that routine, you can then up the time, up the page amount, stuff like that. But each day, figure out something that you can do towards your goal. And the last thing is give yourself breaks. If you just aren't feeling what you're reading, take the day off, watch Netflix, watch some YouTube, go out in nature, go to the mall, do whatever. Give yourself breaks. If your goal is to read, 50 classics this year, give yourself the break to read a different book in between each classic so that you don't burn out. A lot of people actually will read like a comic book in between certain books to kind of refresh themselves from the previous book and to prepare themselves for the next book that they're about to read. I know for me, if I read a certain genre, a certain author, a certain type of book back to back to back, my reading gets slower. I don't read as much, and it takes me longer to finish those books. But putting one small little book in between each of those books allows me to read more and to read for more time throughout the year. All right, so those are my 5 tips for you making your reading goals and to achieving your reading goals. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your 2019 reading goals. Keep these tips in mind. I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever you want to do because it's all about the drive, the determination, and doing the single thing each day you need to do to meet your goal at the end of the year. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time.